Dr. Frank Lodgson was the co-founder of the New American Standard Version, and Dr. Lodgson actually wrote the preface to the New American Standard. But after re-examining the evidence, Dr. Lodgson completely denounced every attachment to the New American Standard. Here's his own words.
I'm afraid I'm in trouble with the Lord. I encourage you to go ahead with it. We laid the groundwork. I wrote the format. I helped to interview some of the translators. I sat with the translators. I wrote the preface. When you see the New American Standard, they're my words. When I got my copy, I got one of the 50 deluxe copies that were printed. Mine was number 7, light blue cover. But it was rather big, and I couldn't carry it with me. And I never really looked at it. I just took for granted it was done as we started it, you know. Until some of my friends across the country began to learn that I had some part in it, and they started saying, what about this? What about this? Especially Dr. David Otis Fuller in Grand Rapids. I've known him for 35 years, and he'd say, he always called me Frank, I called him Duke. He said, Frank, what about this? You had part in it. What about this? What about this? Well, first, I thought, no, wait a minute. Let's don't go overboard. Let's don't be too critical. You know how you justify yourself the last minute. I got to the place, I said to Ann, I'm in trouble. I can't refute these arguments. It's wrong. It's terribly wrong. It is frightfully wrong. And what am I going to do about it? Well, I went through heart search, some real soul searching for about 4 months. I don't know, I think about 4 months. And I sat down and wrote the most difficult letter of my life, I think. And I wrote to my friend Dewey, and I said, Dewey, I don't want to add to your problems. Lost his wife some 3 years ago. I was there for the funeral. Doctor made a mistake in operating on a cataract. He lost the sight of one eye, then had to have an operation on the other, had a slight heart attack, had sugar diabetes, man 74 years of age. But I wrote and said, I can no longer ignore these criticisms I'm hearing, and I can't refute them. The only thing I can do, and dear brother, I have nothing against you, and I can witness at the judgment seat of Christ and before men wherever go that you were 100% sincere. He's not a translator. He's not schooled in language or anything. He's just a businessman. He did the promoting. He had the money. He did the promoting. So I said, he did it conscientiously. He wanted absolutely right. He thought it was right. I guess nobody pointed out some of these things to him when it was finished. But nevertheless, I said, I must, under God, renounce every attachment to the New American Standard. I have the copy of the letter. In fact, I have his letter. Showed it to some people. The Roberts saw it. Mike saw it, stating that he was bowled over, that he was shocked beyond words. Said that's putting it mildly, but he said, I'll write you in a few weeks. I still love you. To me, you're going to be Franklin, my friend, throughout the course. He said, I'll write you in 3 weeks. But he won't write me now. He was to be married. Sent us an invitation to come to reception. Standing in the courtroom, in the county court by the desk, the clerk said, what is your full name, sir? And he said, Franklin Dewey. That's the last word he spoke on this earth. So he was buried 2 days before he was supposed to be married, and he's with the Lord, and he loves the Lord. He knows different now. But I tell you, dear people, somebody's going to have to stand, and no matter if you stand against everyone else, stand.